have a child that was once talking or saying a few words and then all of a sudden it just seemed like it stopped, this could be what is known as regressive autism. Regressive autism, or some other names for it, is autism with regression or acquired autistic syndrome. Basically, this is when a child is appearing to be developing typically or in a typical manner, but then all of a sudden you notice that they start to lose some of their skills. And the skills that are most commonly noticed when this happens are a child's speech skills and a child's social skills. So a lot of parents will report that their child was doing well, they were saying a few words, they were very socially engaged, and then all of a sudden they started to lose these skills between the ages of 15 to 30 months. But the most commonly observed age for when this is noticed is around that 19-month age level, or about when the child is around 1.5. So once the child appears to have lost the skills that they once had, it may seem that the child has hit a plateau and they're really having a hard time with acquiring new skills. Some other signs of this could also be that the child is starting to exhibit and engage in unfamiliar habits or new behaviors that you may have not picked up on or noticed before. So you may also notice things like the child is avoiding eye contact, the child is not responding to their name, the child is having some really challenging eating and sleeping habits, the child has a hard time with receptive language or not really understanding what you're saying to them, what you're asking of them, or not being able to really follow simple one-step directions. You may notice that the child is starting to engage in some type of obsessive interest type of play where they only focus on one part of a toy, such as the wheels on a car, and that's the only part that they're focused on. Or you may start to notice that they are very restrictive in how they play, and if you come along and try to change how they're playing, they get very upset about it. So those are just a few of the signs that you may notice in addition to that sudden loss of skills. Research has actually shown that these same children probably and actually did have some type of developmental delay or some signs before, but it was so subtle that a lot of times that went unnoticed, and it wasn't until the child showed a major loss, such as the loss in speech, that the parents started to take more notice of what was going on with the child. So what exactly causes regressive autism? Well, research is currently still being done, and there has not been just one set answer to explain why this happens and why this occurs. There have been a variety of hypotheses and possibilities as to why this happens. And some of the main things that researchers have been finding is that this may be caused by genetic factors, environmental factors, and biological factors. So one example of a biological factor that may be the underlying root behind this happening is the damage to the mitochondria. So I know this is not a science class, so I'm going to be as general as possible. Mitochondria is basically the powerhouse of our bodies, the powerhouse of our cells, and it provides energy for our cells and energy to fuel our brains. So if there is damage done to the mitochondria, that means there's not being enough energy produced by our cells, which means there's not being enough fuel to energize what needs to be done for our proper brain function. Some other examples of biological factors that may be the underlying cause behind this are things such as immune dysfunction, GI issues or GI distress, as well as antibodies that may have impacted the child while they were still a fetus in the mother's womb. So like I said, research is still being done. There is not one set answer just yet, but it is good to know that they are actively trying to seek out what is going on and why this happens. So if you are a parent and you're watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds like my child was talking and then all of a sudden they stopped, or you notice a regression in your child's skill level, I highly recommend you, as I always do, if you have any type of concern related to your child's development, please reach out to your child's pediatrician or your healthcare provider so that you can get your child in and report these findings and behaviors to the pediatrician. And the pediatrician may then be able to provide you with a referral to get your child evaluated, or just provide you with whatever resources that are needed to help you if your child is exhibiting some of these concerns. In addition to reaching out to your pediatrician, I also recommend that you do this sooner than later and do it as soon as possible, because the earlier the child is treated, the better chances that they will make progress and the better chances their outcomes will be. Also, if you're new to me, I'm an occupational therapist who is a huge advocate for early intervention, where I work with children ages 3 and under, and in every state they have an early intervention program. So if you notice that you are having some concerns about your child's development, I highly recommend that you reach out to your state's early intervention program, who may be able to assist you with getting your child evaluated. And if your child does qualify for the early intervention program, then your child may also be eligible to receive the proper therapies and services that they need to help them with whatever deficits may be going on. So guys, I hope this was helpful. I don't know, let me know in the comments below. Have you heard of regressive autism before? Have you heard of something like this happening where a child is, appearing to be developing typically, then all of a sudden they just kind of stop? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time, bye.